6 buys and 4 sells ahead of week 5. Talking players like Brock Bowers, Ted McMillan, Ashton Jeanty, Rashee Rice, Alvin Kamara, Brian Thomas Jr., Trevion Henderson, Jalen Warren, Xavier Worthy, and Cam Scattaboo. Welcome into the WalterPicks Fantasy Football Show. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to the YouTube channel. We're pumping out content like this every single week. Let's start with our first sell high, Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers hasn't been that great this year. Let's just be honest with that. He kind of has the curse of fantasy football, an amazing week 1, and since then, less than 10 points, less than 10 PPR points every single week. His most catches this year is 5. His most targets this year is 8. And this team is just completely different than last year. They have new coaching. They have a new quarterback. They have a new running back. This is just not the same team that it was last year that has a quarterback that can't throw down the field. Now, Geno Smith has been struggling with interceptions, but he clearly is willing to throw down the field. They've been struggling with turnovers. They're just not using Brock Bowers that much. And look at this schedule as well. He's played the easiest tight end games of the season. They play Cleveland. They play the Chargers. They play Denver. They play Philadelphia in the playoffs. They play Houston in the playoffs. His best matchup for the rest of the season comes week 17. That's a great week to have it, but it's against the Giants, who aren't even that bad against tight ends. So for me, Brock Bowers is a sell high only if you can get good value. You find someone in your league that believes, that says, oh, it's all the knee injury, which maybe some of it is, but they're saying it's all the knee injury. He's going to come back. They like the name value of Brock Bowers. That's what would make him a sell high. Our first buy low is going to be Ted McMillan. Now, we were already projecting a poor week 4 performance with Christian Gonzalez returning for the Patriots, and he did have that. He only had 10 fantasy points. But the thing I want to point out here, and it's similar here, but you look at the route percentage here, 88, 91, 96, 97%. The snaps are great. The snap percentage has been increasing every single week. He's a rookie. He's even a rookie who is a first-round pick is increasing his snap percentage every single week. The routes is looking elite. They just didn't have the best week 4 against the Patriots. They do have a tough schedule. In the playoffs, they play New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Seattle, which is a pretty tough fantasy football playoff schedule. They play Green Bay, Buffalo in here as well. But I do think that adding Ted McMillan is a player that's going to get you a lot of targets for your team each and every week. And as soon as those targets start to connect a little bit more, you're going to be seeing good value. We see 9 targets, 10 targets, 8 targets, 8 targets. A player that's getting 8 to 10 targets every single week is going to eventually produce some good fantasy points. Remember, he's just a rookie. He's going to get better throughout the season. So right now is a perfect time to buy low. I promise you I'm not a Raiders hater, but I still think you should sell high on Ashton Jeanty. This is exactly what we were hoping for. Week 1, 12 points. Week 2, 7 points. Week 3, 6 points. This 6 points, guys. This 1 week ago, you were dreaming of this week. You could get nothing for Ashton Jeanty. If this was a normal running back, you would have dropped him, but it's not. It's Ashton Jeanty. Of course, we weren't going to drop him, but based on the fantasy points, we probably would have. Then he drops 33 points. Problem is, it's against Chicago. They are awful against the run. Their defense is extremely injured, and they've been struggling all season long. When we look at the rest of the season, the schedule is pretty dang difficult. He plays the Colts next week, then Jacksonville, Denver, Cleveland, the Chargers, Denver. Now, in the fantasy football playoffs, we'll see how that plays out. Philadelphia, Houston, the Giants. Playing the Bears, getting you 33 points, maximizes his value. If you can lock it in, if you can get some amazing players in return, why not lock in the value instead of finding out that this was just a Bears boost? This one's a pretty easy one because he hasn't even played yet. Rashee Rice should be a top 12 receiver when he returns. We look at 2024. 17, 18, 29 points through the first 3 weeks. Wide receiver 14, 16, wide receiver 3. He was absolutely elite last year for fantasy football. The Chiefs looked really good this week, just getting back Xavier Worthy. So when they get back Rashee Rice, they're going to be even better. Rashee Rice, someone you should trade for if you have a great record. Now, if you have a bad record, Rashee Rice, you could almost get full value for him. If you do want to trade him away, you could do that. If you don't want to go down to 1-5 or 0-6, you should probably trade him away now, but make sure you're getting top tier value because he's going to be back in just 2 weeks. It's time to panic on Alvin Kamara. He's absolutely a sell medium. He's not really a sell high, but I do think you should try to sell. Week 1, 13, week 2, 16, week 3, 6, week 4, 11.2. The problem here is Kendre Miller. Kendre Miller had about the same amount of rushing attempts and was more efficient on the ground and had the touchdown. Kendre Miller looks great in this Saints offense. So Alvin Kamara definitely going to keep conceding some of that work to Kendre Miller, who looks so good. Sell Alvin Kamara while you can and add Kendre Miller from the waiver. Another buy low is Brian Thomas Jr. Now, we look at the season so far. It's been pretty bad. Let's just be honest with that. But that means a low price. I'm not saying pay second round or first round prices for Brian Thomas Jr. We're paying prices like he's been scoring 9 points, 9 points, 7.5, and 10 points. So let's just get that out of the way early on. But what I really like about this game is we look at the targets. 7 targets in this game. Target share about equal to where it's been throughout the season, but look at the receptions. 5 receptions. This was by far the most efficient game that he's played. And if you watch this game, because I did, you see that these targets, he was open. They were able to get him the ball. In some of these games where he has a lot more targets, they're down the field, they're going out of bounds, they're not the best targets, they're not really efficient targets. In this game, they were. He was open, they threw him the ball, he almost always caught it. 5 out of 7, that's good results there, and that's something you can build on. And that's why I am trying to buy him for my team. But I'm trying to sell TreVeyon Henderson. Now, some people may say, why do you want to sell this guy now? He's going to break out. Well, that's the person I'm trying to sell him to. Because if we look over at his snap share, this will tell you the whole story. This is why you want to have the WalterPicks app. He has 35% week 1, 31% week 2, 41% or 45% week 3, with Ramondre Stevenson having 2 fumbles, Antonio Gibson having a fumble that absolutely lost them the game. He can't even get to 50%. And then week 4, he's down to his lowest of the season at 30%. Now, his yards per carry weren't bad, but they were below Ramondre and just slightly above Antonio Gibson. This team scored 42 points. He had a touchdown. Not that impressive. When your team scores 42 points, you're one of the key running backs, you have a touchdown. It's not something that we're going to expect every single week. So I would try to sell TreVeyon Henderson right now to someone that believes, that someone that wants him, someone that's been trying to trade for him all season long. Now is your time to cash in and get some real value for your team. We close out the video with 3 players to buy for your team, and the first is Jaylen Warren. So far this season, he's been really solid. 14 points week 1, 17 points week 2, 13 points week 3, and unfortunately week 4, a surprise inactive. It just seems like that's our luck every single year, that one of these early overseas players is going to be hurt, can't play, and cost people their week. That's exactly what happened this week. But the reason I think he's a great buy low, he's coming off the injury. He just hurt somebody's team pretty bad, especially if they started him in the lineup, and then he's got a bye week 5. If you trade for a player that's heading into their bye, you could probably get them at a discount because everyone wants to scramble. They're going to tell lies to themselves. They can trade out of all of their bye weeks if they can trade out Jaylen Warren. They can keep trading out of all their bye weeks and never have to deal with a bye week. That's just not going to happen. It just simply isn't. There aren't enough trades in your league. But buying a player heading into their bye week is a great move. And then you look at the schedule. Week 6, he plays Cleveland. So another tough week for Jaylen Warren. But throughout the season, he's going to be highly involved. Now, Kenneth Gainwell had a great week. That may be another reason you can buy Jaylen Warren low, because some people think Kenneth Gainwell is going to be super, super involved in this offense. I think it's going to go back to exactly how it was before. Kenneth Gainwell gets some of the work. Jaylen Warren gets the majority. Caleb Johnson gets none. And that's why I think you can buy Jaylen Warren kind of low right now and get him for your team. Now, this one's kind of a buy high, but I would try to get Xavier Worthy for your squad. A lot of people may be concerned about his volume because they're like, well, Rashee Rice is coming back. Can he continually get 8 targets? But target share was only 23%. That is very sustainable. Air yards was absolutely insane. 136 air yards. Love that. Xavier Worthy is a good buy because when Rashee Rice comes back, they're going to play different roles, and this offense is going to be one of the best in the league. You have Travis Kelce, who hasn't looked great, but at least he's a good, reliable option. Rashee Rice in the short yardage. Xavier Worthy down the field. The running backs started to step it up a little bit more, and that'll be even easier when you have Rashee Rice back. You need to focus on these wide receivers. Their offense is going to start absolutely cooking. Getting pieces of this offense, I think, is a great move. Our final buy of the video, and if you guys haven't yet, make sure you hit that like and that subscribe to get this trades video every week, and you want to trade for Cam Skattebo. It's kind of a buy high as well, but look at the volume in this game. I'm going to keep scrolling. This is going to be a little bit of a jump scare, so be ready here. Look at the rushing attempts. 25 rush attempts, and that was only 60% of the rush share. This team ran the ball like crazy. Jackson Dart only had 111 pass yards in this game. We look over at the fantasy points, only 13, but with 25 attempts, a team that's going to absolutely need to run the ball, and he did it against a pretty good rush defense too. We look at the schedule. It is pretty tough. They play Green Bay. We'll have to see how Green Bay is. Dallas maybe exposed them a little bit, but over the course of the season, the schedule is not too terrible. Cam Skattebo with this volume is a great buy.